Hi, in this video I'm going to show you a little bit about how to attach satin binding to the edge of a quilt. I actually don't normally use satin binding for my quilts and blankets, but this quilt I'm making is a texture quilt with different textures for kids with sensory disorders who like to have different texture sensations. So the satin binding edging would be appealing to them. So the first thing, I'm no expert, but this has worked for me. So the first things to think about, the satin binding is narrower on one side than the other. And you want to have the narrower side on top when you're working. That way when you're stitching on the top, you're absolutely sure you're catching the bottom on the back. So be sure you set it up that way. I use a basic zigzag stitch, so my machine is set to zigzag, and a relatively long stitch length. So as you can see, I'm already going along, but I'll show you how to turn a corner, which is really the hardest part. So here goes. I'm stitching as close as I can to this top edge, knowing the bottom is wider. Okay, so I basically just screwed up, but I am planting the needle so that I can keep everything held together while I mess with the corner. I also kind of throw a pin in. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the fabric so I pivot at this corner. And I'm going to tuck it around the bottom. This is just kind of messy. It's a messy process, but it works. And then I fold it around, so I'm making sure that it's pivoted on that outer corner and that it's lined up, that the inside, the edge of the quilt is right up against the fold of the binding. A little bit hard to demonstrate. And once I feel like I've got that pivot at that corner and the fold is in the right spot, I'm going to go ahead and throw a pin in just to hold it. And you can pin the whole edge, I'm just too lazy. So then what I'm going to do is tidy up these corners on the back and on the front. I'm going to fold it like this. I'm going to tuck in that corner and fold this down in whatever way I need to make that interior corner match up. And then I'm going to do the same on the back, and I want to make sure these folds are parallel on the front and the back. And of course this one isn't going smoothly because I do videos in one shot, but that's kind of the idea. See how there's a fold and the interior matches up, and then the back there's also a fold and it's parallel. So now I'm going to keep stitching. As soon as I get over that folded area, I'm going to plant my needle, pivot my machine, and stitch down to the tip. And then reverse my stitch and stitch back up. Probably could have done a better job with that. Again, I'm going to plant the needle, put my machine in a forward stitching motion, pivot around. Whoops, need to take one more stitch. There we go. Pivot around. And keep stitching. That's it. Thanks so much.